So welcome back to the Stacey West. Obviously, I'm Jake Tonge again. We're filming another preview video. This time we have MK Dons supporter Jonathan Harries with us ahead of our game on Saturday against MK Dons. Obviously, at the time of recording, we don't yet know if we're going to play Liverpool in the third round of the Cup. Hopefully we are. But yeah, if you'd just like to give yourself a bit of an introduction, John, on what you do and how long you've been following MK.
Yep. So, as Jake said, my name's Jonathan Harries. I've been following MK Dons for about 7 years now, season ticket holder for 6. So, only really started following them in 2014 and 15, sort of the promotion season when we got to the Championship. The year we beat Man United 4-0. Don't know if anyone's heard of that one. Then, obviously, got a season ticket the next season, went through the Championship. I did, I think, 18 out of the 23 away games, which wasn't too bad. And then, sort of mixed bag since then of promotions and relegations, really.
Obviously MK and Lincoln had that year in League Two where we were fighting for the title, and then that decisive game at Stadium MK when Bruno Andrade put it in the back of the net and won it. Obviously, so the clubs know quite a bit about each other in recent times.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You can go.
I must say, I really do enjoy the games between us. I think there's like, I don't want to say a rivalry. Probably mutual respect. Probably the right
I'll agree.
Because obviously, I think when we were both in League Two, we were either favourites or second favourites. We were definitely favourites of promotion.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of build sort of us against you to see who wins the league, really. And unfortunately, we had that period of injuries between Christmas and February, where I think that's where we lost it, and then we somehow managed to, on the last day against Mansfield, and get promoted, which was the most nervous 97 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of Lincoln fans were very grateful that you beat Mansfield that day.
Oh, is there a rivalry?
Yeah, as and Mansfield don't really get on with one another at all. I suppose it's quite local. Mansfield, obviously being from Nottingham, they're not a million miles away from us in Lincoln. So, but anyway, we digress. So we're just going to talk a bit about your first game of the season, which was a 1-1 draw with Doncaster. How did you think that went, and were there any positive signs for you to take out of that?
I was grateful for a point I would have taken at the start of the game. Bit disappointed because especially first half, I felt we really dominated Doncaster. I don't think Lee Nichols had a save to make all game. We should have led just before half time. Sam Nombe basically rounded the goalkeeper, just an empty net, and credit to the Doncaster defender, he got back. But I think if that was any other striker of any decent pedigree, that would have been 1-0, and that could have changed to the second half. Fair credit Doncaster second half, they came out and they sort of put us under a bit more pressure and got their goal. Bit fortunate, but and then it was like a 10-minute period after that. It was a bit scrappy, and I thought that we wouldn't get the result because we don't really tend to like scrappy games. But then up stepped our centre-back Bailey Cargill, who turned into Lionel Messi, a couple of 1-2s and stuck it in the back of the net. So credit Bailey Cargill there.
Yeah, so obviously a point. Looking at Doncaster, they're probably one of the favourites in terms of being in that group, just in and around the playoffs. Obviously they've got a good setup there. A point away for a point at the keep moat is quite impressive for a side that's not long been in the division.
Yeah. Plus the fact our away record, we haven't won for a year now in the league since Blackpool on September the 14th, which is quite a long time, really. I think it's like, I could be wrong, but it could be a League One record of 15 games without an away win, or it's certainly a club record. So that is still slightly concerning, but I suppose they always say get a point away from home and collect your points at home.
Yeah, I think that was quite a trend with the teams that came up last from League Two to League One when we did, because obviously we struggled on the road as well quite significantly last year. So, but anyway, if we just talk a little bit about the summer recruitment from MK Dons, who are the players that you've brought in, and who should Lincoln fans be looking out for when we eventually get to watch it on iFollow on Saturday?
Of the ones that we've signed, I'd probably say Daniel Harvey, who is an attacking left wing back we signed from St Mirren. No one had really heard of him. It was a bit of a plucked out the air. They've been watching him since January. Tried to sign him in January actually, but that didn't materialise. Quite energetic, good delivery. Still only 21, so still quite young. Warren O'Hara, we've got him on loan from Brighton. He looked really composed on Saturday, to be fair. But he hadn't really had much for a pre-season with us because he went away with Ireland on international duty. And then if he's fit, which is the signing MK Dons fans are most excited about, I'd probably say Scott Fraser.
Yeah.
We got him on the free from Burton. We've been chasing him all summer as well, and to get him, I think, was an absolute steal for free. There's a lot of opposition fans that were surprised he stayed in League One, to be honest.
Yeah, myself included, because obviously he was. I don't know if you watch any of the Sunderland fan media. They were desperately trying to get Scott Fraser through the door. They were really, he's one of the best creative midfielders I think in the division last year. And for MK to have signed him, no disrespect to Milton Keynes, but he looked destined to go, in my opinion, to the Championship, and it's one hell of a signing. So obviously, Lincoln and MK have done quite a bit of business this summer, which, from what I can remember, we've not really had any players that have done the move from MK to Lincoln, or vice versa. But obviously, two players this summer have made that move. Conor McGrandles and Walsh, two players that were would you say they were heavily featured in the season you came into League One?
I would say Joe Walsh was more sort of regular last season, especially when Russell Martin took over. He's very, very underrated within the MK Dons fan base. He does have a bit of an injury sort of history, so don't expect him to do a full 40-game season.
No.
But on his day and when he's fit, he's definitely a really good defender, good leader, puts his head in where it hurts, can find Bro's head if needed, and can actually play out from the back as well, which surprised a lot of fans when Russell Martin decided to play out from the back.
Yeah.
Conor McGrandles was a bit like Marmite with our fans. I think you either liked what he did or you hated it. Never get him to take a penalty because he'll always find Rose Ed with a penalty. So that's a tip for Lincoln fans. But in terms of tackling and sort of going forward, you can sort of pick a pass and sort of keep the play ticking along, and he could be a difference maker as well off the bench, sort of something different to possibly what you have with sort of George Grant sort of thing.
Do you think they'll be quite good additions then, considering you spoke that how they're quite possession heavy and they're able to play the ball around the park? Do you think they're both quite good additions for a Michael Appleton Lincoln City rather than a Danny Cowley Lincoln City?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Appleton was probably looking for, from signs that I've seen, he was looking for more sort of ball-playing players. That Dutch defender that you signed, that was a really interesting sort of buy. You'll have to
Lewis Mont's
figure out his name, but him. He was a really sort of left field sort of signing, but It's sort of, as you say, he seems a bit like Russell Martin. He wants to go down the sort of the possession-based, we'll keep the ball and tire you out sort of thing. So yeah, I can definitely see him working in your system.
Another player that left MK this year, quite bizarrely, as we had a bit of a chat off air about, Rhys Healey made his way to Toulouse, and quite a strange move. You know, he scored the free kick at Central Bank and then celebrated in front of our fans, strangely. But you know, it was quite. You know, I think a lot of fans in this division and a lot of journalists really rated Rhys Healey, and for him to make the move out to France, because was it Cardiff he was at before? It was a bit of a strange move to end up in Toulouse.
Yes, it was. Well, we never heard of him when because we initially got him on loan in the League Two season under Paul Tisdale, and took him a while to sort of settle in the side because we were playing three up top at the time. So he was playing wide left, and EK was wide right, and Agard was down the middle. But once he got his first goal, can't remember if he scored against you at Central Bank. I think he might have done.
The season we both went up at. I think he scored. Was it to put you 1-0 up at the Bank? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And then sort of went through a really sort of good period of scoring goals, and then we were due to sign him back on loan in January, but unfortunately that was the time of Emiliano Sala. Obviously with what happened with him, and Cardiff kept him for that season.
Yeah.
And then the following summer, Paul Tisdale was obviously chasing him, and we finally signed him. What took like an age to sign him, and then he unfortunately picked up an injury, so he didn't. I think he started the first two games and then picked up an injury in a warm-up, and then that was possibly the undoing of Paul Tisdale's reign at Milton Keynes, because a lot of our strikers were injured at that point, and we were going through a really bad period in League One. And then when Russell Martin came in, I don't know what happened, but as our fans used to say, he went through the streak where he scored every week, different types of goals as well. Free kick against Lincoln. He did a solo goal against Rotherham. He was just the all-round striker, and to lose him to a European side was shocking, really. And we have been promised a replacement, but I suppose Lincoln are in the same boat. We're all sort of looking for that striker just to finish off our team, really.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Obviously, talking about Lincoln there, what are your opinions on the club and how we've sort of developed over the last 5 years or so?
Well, watching you in League Two, I was sort of quietly impressed the way the Harries had you organised. I know a few of the opposition fans were calling you sort of physical and sort of route one, but I never really saw that in either game. I think it was just the fact John Akinde was up top, sort of thing, that sort of gave him that impression. I was a bit, I got to be honest, I was a bit sort of surprised that they went to Huddersfield, and I feel sorry for them from what's happened there. I don't feel they got a chance at Huddersfield. No. They did what probably Huddersfield wanted them to do and survive in the Championship.
Yeah.
And then Apton's come in, and it has taken him time to get his own ideas across, a bit like obviously what Russell Martin's doing now. But I think you've got an outside chance of possibly a playoff push if as us you get the striker in. I think there's about 5 or 6 teams I could say they're on the cusp of a possible playoff push if they get the right striker in, really. Because I think League One's going to be really tight this season.
Yeah, I'd agree. Obviously, we've got quite a few centre forwards at the club with Tom Hopper, Callum Morton, who's just come in on loan from West Brom, and Anthony Scully as well as Jordan Adebayo-Smith. You know, we've got 4 strikers there, but obviously there is reports coming out that we are looking for one more forward-based player A lot of Lincoln supporters are thinking it might be Danny Rowe, who was released by Ipswich. Obviously, was part of the team that came up with you guys in League Two.
All right. I've not heard that room, to be fair.
I think a lot of Lincoln fans are hoping that it's not going to be Jake Hesketh, who obviously was on loan with you when you guys got promoted, and then he came on loan to us last season from Southampton. He split opinion quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work out for Hesketh at Lincoln, to be honest, because he was played in a similar position to what he was played at MK Dons, and I don't know if it was just the system or he was given different instructions, but he seemed to have a bit less freedom at Lincoln.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to sound disrespectful here, but he seemed to have a bit more of a free role at MK Dons, where he could just go around the pitch and do what he wanted to do, really.
Yeah. So what aims have MK got for this season, based on last season comfortably staying in the division, and then this year are they looking to kick on? Are you looking for a playoff push, or looking to further consolidate your position in the third tier?
I think with our current squad, I think I'd be happy with a top 12 or a top 10 just to consolidate this season. Never say never with a playoff push, especially with the transfer window being extended into October. Obviously, we don't want to leave it too long to get a striker in, but I think it's just a case of if where we're not sure where the goals are going to come from now that Healey's gone. That's the concerning thing. There's no real striker at the club that's been sort of prolific. Carlton Morris is good, but he only had that one-off season at Shrewsbury when they nearly got promoted.
Yeah.
Then we've got young Sam Nombe, who will be a top striker, but I think it's just too much pressure to put on him at the minute. And then we've got Joe Mason, who struggles for fitness. So I'll say top 10 to be optimistic. I'll be happy with a top 10 finish.
And then just quickly before we wrap things up, if I could just ask you to a score prediction and how you think the game's going to go on Saturday.
Right. I'm going to go with a 1-0 either way. The scores between us have been very sort of close, sort of like the odd 2-1, 1-0 sort of score lines, and it's always very tight between us. We sort of play similar sort of style, especially now with you under Appleton and us under Russell Martin. So I think it'll be like a game of chess, and it's whoever takes the most chances will obviously win the game. So I think I'll just play it safe and go 1-0 either way.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you very much, John, for coming on the Stacey West. We massively appreciate it. I'm sure Gary will have you back on at some stage soon. But for everybody watching, thank you very much for watching, and we hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.